Meta. Okay, let me actually explain what I mean by this so the video doesn't end up just being about as long as a TikTok video. When I say screw the meta, I'm saying do not heavily rely so much on tier lists, video guides, anything of that nature, and, well, especially leaks. Like, this isn't me bringing any kind of hate to the people who make the kinds of content. Like, that's still content that's needed for a reason. That's why there's people putting in the effort to make it. It's a good thing, well, except for the leaks part. But what I'm trying to say here is, someone saying a character is good or bad shouldn't dictate whether or not you're going to pull for them or build them. There are 3 things I can confidently say and will cover throughout the duration of this video. First, every character that's been released so far has been a good addition. Second, just about every launch character except can be used to clear every piece of content in this game. And third, if you're someone who feels like they're struggling because you don't have a certain character, you're either just not good at this game, or you're just a newer player that hasn't gotten much help from others. Let me start by summarizing every character that has been dropped on us so far. Seele is still a very powerful solo target nuker to this day. Jing Yuan had a pretty rough start, but the follow-up set helps him bounce back at least. Silverwolf can be put on just about any team because she can just put a weakness on the enemy from whatever elements you have on your team. Luocha, he almost never has to even use his E to actually heal because his passive will do the work for her most of the time. Wukong, in my opinion, is just as good as Ting Yun as a Harmony unit. These 3 motherfuckers, Blade and Biff, Byford, Lune, and Jing Li, I don't have to explain, they broke the game. Kafka, almost in the same light, but she's still basically the best agility unit in the game so far. Fu Xuan, she's literally 3 paths in 1. Lynx, basically one of Clara's best partners because her E's gonna make whoever got healed by it have increased taunt value, and that's what you want for her. Winifred, basically Kafka but with specifically fire. Topaz, she actually made some double DPS comps viable, mainly follow-up like with her and Jing Yuan for example. Woho, I personally think she is currently the best abundance in the game, as of right now. Argentine, the one unit that's actually giving hope to Erudition, which I talked about in my last video. Hanya, basically another good addition to Harmony that just works about with any DPS. Zhui Yi ignores weakness on her ultimate. And then I don't even have to speak on Ruin Mei. I feel that she might just be the best unit in the game as of right now. But with that quick summary, I haven't even said anything remotely bad or anything that implies any of the units are bad because they really just aren't. And then it's such an even more simpler case about the second point, the standard units that launched with the game. Like, I'll just summarize it very quickly. First, we have so many staple units that have been put in just almost every team since the launch of this game. Like Pela for defense shredding and buff removal, Ting Yun for just DPS buffing and also rushing their ult, Bronya for the advanced action forward and the huge attack and crit damage boosts, and then Asta for the huge speed boost. Those are just a couple examples. The DPS units like Yanqing, Su Sheng, Xing Shui, like they still do good damage. Sustainers, like even Natasha and Bailu and Jeopard are still doing a good job. Like these starter units are still good. Like if you're complaining about the starter units, just build them, you'll be fine. And since the characters aren't bad, the only thing I can truly say is bad is your investment into characters. This game is not hard. You can't say anything about how difficult a certain content is if I see your traces at like level 6 or something like that, and then your relics are just filled with HP and defense rolls on a character that needs crit rate and crit damage. Like, first off, Traces are the easiest way to guarantee that your character will do their job more efficiently. And then after the traces, well, I don't even have to speak on the light cone. That is simple as leveling it up and slapping it on the character. Relics, on the other hand, a little bit of RNG here and there. All of us get treated kind of harshly from time to time, but it's not to the point where most of your accounts just gonna be hitting like a wet noodle or just shattering like glass when they take like a singular hit from the freaking ape or the deer or something. If you actually put the time in, the characters you use should be decent at the absolute minimum, especially if you've been playing around this global release. And then with all of that, let me just slightly, ever so slightly revert my initial statement. With all of that, please don't take a so-called meta as God's word in Star Rail. There is a such thing as a meta, technically, because there's always going to be a character that's better than another at a certain job. And also, power creep does exist in this game. It's a gacha. It's going to happen. You've seen it in others. But at the rate it's happening in this game, which is not all that fast, especially considering that all the characters have dropped have been good additions, and even the 1.0 characters are still usable. It's like at this current point in the game, you're better off just summoning for whoever you so please. Like eventually, at some point, a couple years down the line, the starting units are gonna fall off. But that's for another time. Right now, you should just worry about farming them relics, getting them traces up, and then just enjoying the game, because this is a game at the end of the day. This is what we signed up for. Your life does not depend on a min-maxed account. Well, that's all I got to say for today. Just a couple parting words. Just make sure to subscribe. I don't say it enough, apparently. Well, that's in my own head. You just at least consider it. You get your rates boosted by 5%, and there are people that have proven that. And then also join me up on Discord, discord.gg/expresstrain. I am in there quite a bit. But with that, the concession stand is closed. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.